Hey there, welcome back. Or if this is your first time here, I'm glad you found us. Tonight, we're going to talk about something you carry with you every single day, every single moment, but probably rarely stop to appreciate. Your body. Not in the way a fitness instructor talks about it, not in the way a doctor might lecture about it, but in the quiet, fascinating, almost magical way it actually works when no one's watching. Your body is performing miracles right now. As you lie there, as your eyes grow heavy, as you settle into your pillow, trillions of cells are cooperating in ways science is still trying to fully understand. Your heart is beating without you telling it to. Your lungs are breathing. Your brain is processing, filtering, dreaming, even before you fall asleep. And here's the thing. Most of what your body does, you'll never consciously experience. It happens in the background, silent and steady, like the hum of a distant engine keeping everything running. So before you drift off tonight, let's take a gentle journey through some of the most calming, most remarkable facts about the human body. Not the stressful stuff, not the things that go wrong, but the things that go right. The systems that work, the processes that heal. The quiet intelligence woven into your bones, your blood, and your breath. If you enjoy what we do here, go ahead and like the video and subscribe. But only if it feels right. And let me know in the comments where you're listening from and what time it is for you right now. It's always fascinating to see who's joining us from around the world. Now, dim the lights. Get comfortable, adjust your pillow, let your shoulders drop, and let's begin. Right now, as you're lying there, your heart is doing something extraordinary. It's beating, again, and again, and again. Roughly 100,000 times today alone. And here's the remarkable part. You didn't have to think about it once. Your heart doesn't need permission. It doesn't need reminders or alarms or motivational quotes. It just works, steadily, reliably. A rhythm so consistent that ancient cultures believed it was the seat of the soul itself. But what you might not know is that your heart isn't just a pump. It's far more intelligent than that. In fact, your heart has its own nervous system, a network of around 40,000 neurons that some scientists call the heart's little brain. This cluster of nerve cells, known as the cardiac ganglion, allows your heart to sense, process information, and make decisions independently of your actual brain. That's right. Your heart can think for itself. Not in the way your brain solves equations or remembers your grocery list, but in a quieter, more intuitive way. It monitors pressure, rhythm, and chemical signals. It adjusts its own beat based on what your body needs in real time. And when you're lying still, preparing for sleep, it knows. It slows. It softens. It shifts into rest mode without you ever asking it to. This isn't just poetic. It's measurable. Scientists use something called heart rate variability, or HRV, to assess how well your body handles stress and relaxation. When you're anxious or alert, your heartbeat becomes rigid, almost mechanical. The intervals between beats are uniform, predictable. But when you're calm, deeply relaxed, or drifting towards sleep, something beautiful happens. The intervals start to vary. Your heart begins to breathe with you. And that's not a metaphor. Your heart literally syncs with your lungs. When you inhale, your heart rate speeds up slightly. When you exhale, it slows back down. This elegant dance between breath and heartbeat is called respiratory sinus arrhythmia, and it's one of the clearest signs that your body is entering a parasympathetic state, the rest and digest mode that prepares you for deep, restorative sleep. Think about that for a moment. Your heart and lungs, two separate organs, are constantly communicating, not through words or signals you control, but through rhythm, through timing, through a conversation that's been happening inside you since the moment you were born. Now, let's talk about what happens to your heart as you fall asleep. In the minutes before sleep, your heart rate begins to drop. If your resting heart rate during the day is somewhere between 60 and 100 beats per minute, it might fall to 50 or even lower as you drift off. This isn't cause for alarm. It's your body's way of conserving energy, redirecting resources toward repair, memory consolidation, and cellular renewal. During the deepest stages of sleep, the ones where your body does most of its healing, your heart reaches its slowest, most tranquil rhythm. Blood pressure drops. The walls of your arteries relax. The entire cardiovascular system takes a break from the demands of waking life. It's like your heart is finally exhaling after holding its breath all day. And here's something that might surprise you. Your heart doesn't beat at the same speed all night long. It follows the architecture of your sleep cycles. During REM sleep, when your brain becomes wildly active and your eyes dart beneath closed lids, your heart rate picks back up. It becomes more variable, more responsive, almost as if it's participating in your dreams. Then, when you slip back into deep sleep, it settles again. This ebb and flow continues throughout the night, a quiet tide you never feel but always need. The heart's rhythm isn't random. It's influenced by a tiny cluster of cells in the right atrium called the sinoatrial node, your body's natural pacemaker. These cells generate electrical impulses roughly 60 to 100 times per minute, setting the tempo for the rest of the heart to follow. But even this pacemaker is influenced by your nervous system, by hormones, by your breath, and by your emotional state. When you're stressed, your sympathetic nervous system floods your body with adrenaline, and your heart responds by beating faster, harder, preparing you to fight or flee. But when you're safe, when you're lying in the dark with soft sheets and the hum of a fan in the background, it releases acetylcholine, a chemical that tells your heart to slow down, to rest, to trust that everything is okay. And the wild part? Your heart believes it. It listens. It obeys. Not because it has to, but because that's what it was designed to do. So tonight, as you lie there, maybe place a hand over your chest. Feel it. That steady thump beneath your ribs. That rhythm that's been with you since before you were born, before you took your first breath, before you opened your eyes for the first time. Your heart was there, beating, waiting, keeping you alive without ever asking for applause. It's still doing that now, and it will keep doing it every second, every minute, every hour, while you sleep, while you dream, while your mind wanders to places you'll barely remember in the morning. Your heart will be there, quietly holding the rhythm of your life. And maybe that's the most relaxing fact of all. You don't have to try. You don't have to manage it or control it or fix it. Your heart already knows what to do. So let it. Let your heartbeat slow. Let your breath deepen. Let the rhythm carry you into rest. Your heart has been keeping time since the beginning, and right now it's playing the softest lullaby you'll never hear. But in a moment, we'll move from the heart to something even more automatic, something you've done over 20,000 times today without noticing: your breath. You've been breathing all day. In fact, you've taken roughly 20,000 breaths since you woke up this morning. And here's the strange part. You probably didn't notice a single one of them. Breathing is one of the most automatic things your body does. You don't have to remember to do it. You don't have to set a reminder. You don't even have to be awake. Your body breathes while you sleep, while you dream, while your conscious mind is somewhere else entirely. And yet, unlike your heartbeat, breathing is also something you can control. You can hold your breath, you can speed it up, you can slow it down. You are, right now, standing at the intersection of the conscious and the unconscious, the voluntary and the involuntary. And that makes your breath one of the most powerful tools you have for calming your body and mind. Let's start with the mechanics. Every time you breathe in, your diaphragm, a dome-shaped muscle sitting just below your lungs, contracts and flattens. This creates a vacuum in your chest cavity, and air rushes in to fill the space. Oxygen floods into your lungs, travels through branching airways that get smaller and smaller, and eventually reaches tiny air sacs called alveoli. There are roughly 500 million of these little sacs in your lungs, and their job is to pass oxygen into your bloodstream and pull carbon dioxide out. Then you exhale. Your diaphragm relaxes, your chest deflates, and carbon dioxide, the waste product of cellular energy, is pushed back out into the world. The whole process takes a few seconds, and it happens over and over and over, roughly 12 to 20 times per minute, depending on whether you're resting or moving. But here's where it gets interesting. Most people think oxygen is the star of the show. And sure, oxygen is important. Your cells need it to produce energy. But when it comes to relaxation, when it comes to signaling your body that it's safe to rest, carbon dioxide is actually the unsung hero. Your brain monitors the levels of carbon dioxide in your blood constantly. When carbon dioxide rises, even slightly, receptors in your brainstem detect it and send a signal: breathe. This is why holding your breath eventually becomes unbearable. It's not that you're running out of oxygen, at least not at first. It's that carbon dioxide is building up and your body is screaming at you to get rid of it. But carbon dioxide does something else too. It helps regulate your nervous system. When you breathe slowly, especially when you exhale longer than you inhale, carbon dioxide levels rise just enough to trigger your parasympathetic nervous system. This is the part of your body responsible for rest, digestion, healing, and sleep. A long, slow exhale is like sending a text message to your brain that says, "We're safe. We can relax now." This is why breathing techniques work so well for calming anxiety or preparing for sleep. It's not just about relaxation in some vague, mystical sense. It's chemistry. It's biology. When you extend your exhale, you're literally changing the chemical signals in your body, telling your heart to slow down, your muscles to release tension, and your mind to stop scanning for danger. Now let's talk about the diaphragm itself, because this muscle deserves more credit than it gets. Most people breathe shallowly, using only the top part of their lungs. Their shoulders rise and fall, their chest expands and contracts. But the diaphragm barely moves. This is called chest breathing, and it's fine for getting oxygen in and out, but it's not optimal for relaxation. Deep diaphragmatic breathing, sometimes called belly breathing, engages the lower part of your lungs where gas exchange is most efficient. When you breathe this way, your belly rises on the inhale and falls on the exhale. Your shoulders stay still, your chest stays calm, and your body gets the message. This is rest, this is safety, this is home. The diaphragm is also connected, both physically and neurologically, to your vagus nerve. the longest cranial nerve in your body. The vagus nerve is like a superhighway of communication between your brain and your organs. It runs from your brainstem all the way down through your chest and abdomen, touching your heart, your lungs, your stomach, your intestines. And when you breathe deeply, when you engage your diaphragm fully, you stimulate the vagus nerve. This activates what's called the vagal tone, a fancy way of saying your body shifts into a state of calm, connection, and restoration. People with high vagal tone tend to recover from stress faster. They sleep better, they digest food more easily, they feel more emotionally balanced. And one of the simplest ways to improve vagal tone is through slow, intentional breathing. Nothing fancy, just breath, in and out, deep and slow. So right now, as you're lying there, try this. Don't force anything. Just notice your breath. Is it shallow or deep? Fast or slow? Are you breathing into your chest or your belly? There's no wrong answer. Just awareness. Now, if you'd like, take a slow breath in through your nose. Let your belly rise, fill your lungs from the bottom up. Hold it for just a moment. Then exhale slowly, longer than the inhale, letting everything soften. Your shoulders, your jaw, your forehead. Let the exhale be a release, a gentle letting go of the day. Do that a few more times if it feels good, and notice what happens. Notice how your heart rate begins to sync with your breath. Notice how your thoughts start to quiet, just a little. Notice how your body, without you doing much of anything, begins to prepare itself for sleep. Because here's the truth. Your breath is a bridge. It connects your mind to your body. It connects the chaos of the day to the stillness of the night. And it's always there, waiting for you to remember it, to use it, to let it carry you from wakefulness into rest. You've been breathing all day without thinking about it, and in a few minutes you'll be breathing all night, even deeper, even slower, as your body moves through cycles of sleep and repair. But before we get there, let's talk about something solid, something you might not think moves at all, your bones. When you think about bones, you probably think of something hard, something static, something that just sits there holding you up. Maybe you picture a skeleton in a biology classroom, bleached white and perfectly still. But here's the thing, your bones are alive, right now, and they're working. Your skeleton isn't just a scaffold. It's not just structural support, keeping your organs from collapsing into a pile on the floor. Your bones are dynamic, constantly rebuilding themselves, producing new cells, storing minerals, and communicating with the rest of your body in ways you'd never expect. And while you sleep, they're doing some of their most important work. Let's start with the basics. You have 206 bones in your adult body. But that's not how you started. When you were born, you had around 300 bones, most of them soft and made of flexible cartilage. As you grew, many of those bones fused together, hardening into the solid skeleton you have now. Your skull, for example, was once made of separate plates that shifted and overlapped as you passed through the birth canal. If that didn't happen, well, being born would be a lot more difficult for everyone involved. Even now, your bones aren't truly solid. If you could slice one open and look inside, you'd see that bone is more like a honeycomb, a network of tiny struts and spaces designed for strength without unnecessary weight. This structure is called trabecular bone, and it's a masterpiece of biological engineering, strong enough to support your entire body weight, light enough that your skeleton only makes up about 15% of your total body mass. And inside that honeycomb structure, something remarkable is happening. Your bones are making blood. Deep within the marrow, the soft, fatty tissue at the core of certain bones, stem cells are dividing and differentiating into red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets. Every single second, your bone marrow produces around 2 million red blood cells. That's not a typo. 2 million. Every second. While you're awake, while you're asleep, while you're reading this sentence. Red blood cells carry oxygen from your lungs to every tissue in your body. They live for about 120 days before they wear out and get recycled. White blood cells patrol your bloodstream, hunting for infections and coordinating your immune response. Platelets clot your blood when you're injured, sealing wounds and preventing you from bleeding out from a paper cut. And all of this starts in your bones, quietly, efficiently, without you ever knowing. But your bones do something else, too. They act as a mineral bank, storing calcium and phosphorus, two elements your body needs for everything from muscle contraction to nerve signaling. When your blood calcium drops too low, your bones release a little. When you have too much, they store it away. This balance is so important that your body monitors it constantly, adjusting in real time to keep everything stable. And much of this regulation happens while you sleep, when your body has the time and energy to focus on maintenance rather than movement. Here's where it gets even more interesting. Bones are constantly remodeling. Throughout your entire life, old bone tissue is broken down by cells called osteoclasts, and new bone is built up by cells called osteoblasts. This process, called bone remodeling, allows your skeleton to repair tiny cracks, adapt to stress, and stay strong. It's why astronauts lose bone density in space, where there's no gravity to stress their skeletons. It's why weight-bearing exercise helps keep bones healthy. Your bones respond to how you use them. And guess what? Much of this remodeling happens at night. While you sleep, your body shifts its priorities. During the day, energy goes toward movement, thinking, digestion, staying alert. But at night, especially during the deeper stages of sleep, your body redirects resources toward repair and maintenance. Growth hormone is released in pulses during deep sleep, signaling your bones and other tissues to rebuild, strengthen, and grow. This is why children and teenagers need so much sleep. Their bones are still growing, lengthening, solidifying, and that work happens largely in the dark, in the quiet, while they dream. Even as an adult, even when your bones have stopped growing longer, they're still renewing themselves. In fact, your entire skeleton is replaced roughly every 10 years. Not all at once, of course. But little by little, piece by piece, old bone tissue is removed and new bone is laid down. The skeleton you had a decade ago is not the same skeleton you have now. You've been rebuilt, cell by cell, while you slept. And here's something you might not have thought about. Your bones are connected to your sense of calm. When you lie down to sleep, when your body weight is evenly distributed and your muscles relax, your bones finally get a break. All day, they've been bearing weight, absorbing impact, handling compression and tension. But in bed, in stillness, they rest. The pressure eases, and your body knows it. There's a reason lying down feels so good after a long day on your feet. Your bones are sighing with relief. There's also a theory, still being explored, that bones play a role in stress regulation. Some researchers believe that the skeleton, through its interactions with hormones and the nervous system, might influence mood and anxiety. It's early science, still unfolding, but it's fascinating to think that your bones, these quiet, solid structures, might be doing more than you ever imagined. So tonight, as you lie there, consider this. Your bones are holding you. They've been with you since before you were born, shifting and growing and adapting to every stage of your life. They're strong but not rigid, living but patient. And while you sleep, they'll keep working, remodeling, producing blood, storing minerals, quietly doing the work of keeping you alive. You don't have to thank them, you don't have to think about them, they'll do it anyway. That's what bones do. They hold you up. They hold you together, and they never ask for anything in return. But while your bones are doing all this work beneath the surface, there's something covering them, something even larger, even more quietly miraculous. Your skin. Your skin is the largest organ you have, and right now, it's doing far more than you think. Most people don't think of skin as an organ. It's just there, covering everything, keeping the outside world out and the inside world in. But your skin is alive, intelligent, and incredibly active. It spans roughly 20 square feet if you're an average-sized adult, weighing around 8 pounds. That's more surface area than your lungs, your liver, or your heart. And every single inch of it is working, sensing, protecting, and renewing itself, especially while you sleep. Let's start with what your skin does during the day. It's a barrier, first and foremost. It keeps bacteria, viruses, and toxins from entering your bloodstream. It regulates your body temperature by sweating when you're hot and constricting blood vessels when you're cold. It produces vitamin D when sunlight hits it, a nutrient essential for bone health and immune function. And it's covered with millions of nerve endings that let you feel temperature, pressure, pain, and pleasure. Your skin is constantly gathering information about the world and sending it to your brain. But at night, your skin shifts modes. It stops defending and starts repairing. While you sleep, your skin cells divide and regenerate faster than they do during the day. In fact, cell division in the skin peaks between 11 at night and 4 in the morning. This is when your body produces new skin cells to replace the old ones that are constantly being shed. You lose roughly 30 to 40,000 dead skin cells every single minute. That's around 9 pounds of skin cells per year. Most of the dust in your home, it's you, tiny flakes of skin that have served their purpose and fallen away. Your skin renews itself approximately every 28 days. This cycle slows as you age, but it never stopped. The skin you have right now is not the same skin you had a month ago. You've been quietly, continuously replaced. And much of that replacement happens in the dark, while you're unaware, while your body is free to focus on maintenance instead of movement. But skin doesn't just regenerate. It also repairs damage. Throughout the day, your skin is exposed to ultraviolet light, pollution, friction, and minor injuries. These cause tiny breaks in the skin's structure, microscopic wounds that need fixing. At night, your body releases growth factors and increases blood flow to the skin, delivering oxygen and nutrients that fuel repair. Collagen, the protein that gives your skin structure and elasticity, is produced more efficiently during sleep. This is why people who don't sleep well often look tired. Their skin literally hasn't had time to repair itself. Now, let's talk about touch. Your skin contains an astonishing number of nerve endings, somewhere between 2 and 4 million across your entire body. These receptors are specialized. Some detect light touch, like a feather brushing your arm. Others sense deep pressure, like a firm handshake or the weight of a blanket. Some respond to vibration, others to temperature, and still others to pain. All of this information is constantly being sent to your brain, helping you navigate the world without thinking about it. And here's where it connects to sleep. The sensation of pressure, especially deep, even pressure, activates something called the parasympathetic nervous system. This is the rest and digest branch of your nervous system, the one that calms you down, lowers your heart rate, and prepares your body for sleep. This is why weighted blankets work for so many people. The gentle, distributed pressure across your skin sends a signal to your brain. You're safe, you're grounded, you can relax. Touch also triggers the release of oxytocin, sometimes called the bonding hormone. Oxytocin reduces stress, lowers cortisol levels, and promotes feelings of calm and connection. This is why hugging someone, holding a pet, or even wrapping yourself in soft fabric can feel so soothing. Your skin isn't just sensing touch. It's translating that touch into chemistry, into signals that ripple through your entire nervous system. There's something else your skin does at night that you might not expect. It cools you down. As you prepare for sleep, your core body temperature needs to drop by about 1 to 2 degrees Fahrenheit. This drop is essential for initiating sleep, and your skin plays a key role in this process. Blood vessels near the surface of your skin, especially in your hands and feet, dilate, allowing heat to escape. This is why your hands and feet might feel warm right before you fall asleep, even if the rest of you feels cool. Your body is releasing heat through your skin, creating the thermal conditions your brain needs to shut down for the night. Your skin is also part of your immune system. Specialized cells in the skin, called Langerhans cells, patrol for invaders. If bacteria or a virus tries to breach the surface, these cells recognize the threat and alert the rest of your immune system. At night, while your body rests, your immune system ramps up its activity. This is why you often feel worse at night when you're sick. Your immune system is fighting harder, and your skin is part of that battle. And then there's the simple, quiet comfort of touch itself. The feeling of clean sheets against your skin. The softness of a pillow under your cheek. The weight of a blanket settling over you. These sensations aren't trivial. They're signals of safety. Your skin is telling your brain, we're in a good place. We're comfortable. We can let go now. So tonight, as you lie there, maybe take a moment to notice your skin. Notice the texture of the fabric around you. Notice the temperature of the air on your face. Notice the places where your body makes contact with the bed, where weight and pressure meet support. Your skin is holding all of this information, processing it, translating it into calm. You don't have to do anything. Your skin is already working. It's protecting you, repairing you, sensing the world, and filtering it into something your brain can understand. And in a few hours, when you wake, your skin will have renewed itself just a little bit more, quietly, steadily, without ever asking for recognition. But while your skin works on the outside, there's an entire universe working on the inside, one that most people never think about at all. Your gut, deep in your abdomen, coiled and folded into a space no bigger than a basketball, lives what scientists are now calling your second brain. It's not made of grey matter. It doesn't think in words or solve equations. But it communicates, it remembers, and it influences your mood, your immunity, and yes, your sleep, in ways researchers are only beginning to understand. Your gut, your digestive system, that long, winding tube that starts at your mouth and ends roughly 25 to 30 feet later. Most people think of it as a simple processing plant, breaking down food, absorbing nutrients, eliminating waste, and sure, it does all of that. But your gut is doing so much more. It's sensing, signaling, and orchestrating functions that reach far beyond digestion. Let's start with the enteric nervous system, the network of neurons embedded in the walls of your gastrointestinal tract. This system contains over 100 million neurons, more than your spinal cord. These neurons control the movement of food through your intestines, regulate enzyme secretion, and manage blood flow to your digestive organs. And here's the remarkable part. They do all of this largely on their own. Your gut doesn't need constant instructions from your brain to function. It has its own intelligence, its own decision-making capacity. This is why it's called the second brain. And like your actual brain, your gut communicates using neurotransmitters. In fact, roughly 90% of your body's serotonin, the chemical most people associate with mood and well-being, is produced in your gut, not your brain. Serotonin helps regulate digestion, but it also influences mood, anxiety, and sleep. When your gut is healthy, balanced, and functioning well, it produces steady levels of serotonin. When it's inflamed, stressed, or out of balance, serotonin production can falter, and you might feel it not just in your stomach, but in your mind. Now let's talk about what lives inside your gut. You're not just you. You're a walking ecosystem. Trillions of microorganisms, bacteria, viruses, fungi, and other microbes live in your intestines. Collectively, they're called your gut microbiome, and they outnumber your own human cells by a ratio of roughly 1:1. Some estimates suggest you carry around 2 to 5 pounds of microbes in your body at any given time. They're not invaders, they're partners, and they're essential. These microbes help you digest food, synthesize vitamins, break down toxins, and train your immune system. In fact, roughly 70% of your immune system resides in or around your gut. Specialized immune cells line the intestinal wall, constantly sampling what's passing through, deciding what's safe and what's a threat. Your gut is the front line of your body's defense system, and the microbes living there play a critical role in keeping that system sharp, responsive, and balanced. But here's where it ties into sleep. Your gut microbiome has its own circadian rhythm. Just like you, these microbes follow a daily cycle of activity and rest. During the day, when you're eating and moving, certain bacterial populations thrive. At night, when digestion slows and your body shifts into repair mode, other populations become more active. This rhythm is so important that disrupting it, through irregular eating, shift work, or chronic sleep deprivation, can throw your entire microbiome out of balance. And when your microbiome suffers, so do you. Studies have shown that people with poor sleep often have less diverse gut bacteria, and people with gut disorders, like irritable bowel syndrome or inflammatory bowel disease, often struggle with sleep. The connection goes both ways. Your gut affects your sleep, and your sleep affects your gut. It's a feedback loop, a constant conversation between your brain, your gut, and the trillions of microbes that call you home. So, what happens in your gut while you sleep? Digestion slows down significantly. The muscles of your intestines, which contract rhythmically to move food along during the day, relax into a much gentler rhythm at night. This allows your body to focus energy on other tasks: repair, detoxification, immune surveillance. Your gut isn't shutting down. It's shifting priorities. It's taking the opportunity to clean house, repair damaged tissue, and recalibrate the microbial populations that keep everything running smoothly. There's also something called the gut-brain axis, a bidirectional communication highway between your digestive system and your central nervous system. This connection involves the vagus nerve, which we talked about earlier, as well as immune signals, hormones, and microbial metabolites. When your gut is calm, it sends calming signals to your brain. When your gut is inflamed or stressed, it sends alarm signals. This is why anxiety often shows up as a stomachache, and it's why a bad meal before bed can ruin your sleep. Your gut and your brain are in constant dialogue, and what happens in one affects the other. Your microbiome also produces certain compounds that directly influence sleep. Some gut bacteria produce gamma-aminobutyric acid, or GABA, a neurotransmitter that promotes relaxation and reduces neural activity. Others produce short-chain fatty acids, which have anti-inflammatory effects and support the integrity of the gut lining. A healthy, balanced microbiome supports the production of these sleep-friendly compounds. An imbalanced one doesn't. And here's something you can feel. A calm gut equals a calm mind. You've probably noticed this yourself. When your stomach is upset, when you're bloated or nauseous or dealing with indigestion, it's hard to relax. Your body is sending distress signals and your brain is listening. But when your gut is settled, when digestion is smooth and your belly feels quiet, your whole body seems to soften. That's not coincidence. That's biology. So tonight, as you lie there, maybe take a moment to check in with your gut. Is it calm? Is it comfortable? You don't need to do anything about it right now. Just notice. And know that while you sleep, your gut will be working quietly, hosting trillions of tiny allies, sending signals to your brain, supporting your immune system, and preparing your body for another day. Your gut is not just digesting food. It's protecting you, communicating with you, and even influencing how you feel. And it's been doing this faithfully every day of your life. But while your gut works in the dark spaces of your abdomen, something else is happening in an even darker space. Behind your closed eyelids, your brain is about to do something strange, something beautiful, something we still don't fully understand. It's time to talk about your eyes and what happens when they start to move. Your eyes are closed, the room is dark, your body is still, but behind your eyelids, something extraordinary is about to happen. Your eyes are going to start moving, fast, darting back and forth beneath the thin skin of your lids, like they're watching something, and in a way, they are. This is REM sleep, short for rapid eye movement sleep, and it's one of the strangest, most fascinating stages your brain enters every single night. You cycle through it several times, usually 4 to 6 times per night, with each REM period lasting anywhere from 10 minutes early in the night to over an hour by morning, and during these windows, your brain becomes almost as active as it is when you're awake. In some ways, even more active. Let's talk about what's happening. When you first fall asleep, you don't go straight into REM. You start with lighter stages of non-REM sleep, then drop into deep sleep, the stage where your body does most of its physical repair. But after about 90 minutes, something shifts. Your brain waves speed up, your heart rate increases, your breathing becomes irregular, and your eyes, which have been still this whole time, suddenly start moving rapidly in different directions. Scientists still aren't entirely sure why your eyes move during REM sleep. One theory is that they're tracking the images in your dreams, scanning a visual landscape that only exists in your mind. Another theory suggests the movements help stimulate the visual cortex, keeping it active and engaged even though no light is entering your eyes. Whatever the reason, the movement is unmistakable. If you've ever watched someone sleep and seen their eyelids flutter, you are watching them dream. And dreaming is what REM sleep is famous for. Most of your vivid, narrative, emotionally charged dreams happen during REM. The dreams where you're flying, falling, being chased, reuniting with someone you've lost, or finding yourself in impossible situations. These dreams aren't random noise. They're your brain processing, your mind working through emotions, memories, fears, and experiences in a language that doesn't follow logic but somehow still makes sense. During REM sleep, certain parts of your brain light up with activity. Your amygdala, the region responsible for processing emotions, becomes highly active. This is why dreams can feel so emotionally intense, why you might wake up from a dream feeling terrified, heartbroken, or euphoric, even if the dream itself was absurd. Your hippocampus, which handles memory, is also engaged, pulling fragments of the past and weaving them into new combinations. This is why dreams often mix people, places, and events from different times in your life, creating surreal narratives that feel familiar and alien at the same time. But here's the fascinating part. While all this is happening, your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for logic, planning, and self-awareness, is relatively quiet. This is why dreams don't follow the rules of reality. You don't question why you're suddenly back in your childhood home, or why your third-grade teacher is giving you career advice, or why you can breathe underwater. In dreams, everything just is. Your brain accepts the bizarre as normal because the part that would usually say, "Wait, this doesn't make sense," is taking a break. Now, while your brain is busy dreaming, your body is doing something equally strange. You're paralyzed. Not completely, your diaphragm still works so you can breathe, and your eyes are obviously moving. But almost every other voluntary muscle in your body is temporarily shut down. This paralysis, called REM atonia, is a protective mechanism. It keeps you from acting out your dreams. Without it, you might punch, kick, run, or flail in your sleep, potentially hurting yourself or anyone sleeping nearby. Occasionally, this system doesn't work perfectly. Sometimes people wake up before the paralysis wears off, and they experience what's called sleep paralysis, a temporary inability to move or speak while still being partially conscious. It can feel frightening, but it's harmless and usually lasts only a few seconds to a few minutes. On the other end, some people have a disorder where the paralysis doesn't engage properly, and they do act out their dreams. But for most people, most of the time, the system works. You dream wildly, and your body stays still. So what's the point of all this? Why does your brain go through the effort of creating these elaborate, emotional, often nonsensical stories every night? Researchers believe REM sleep serves several critical functions. One is emotional regulation. During REM, your brain processes difficult emotions in a safe context, allowing you to work through stress, fear, and anxiety without the physical consequences. It's like a dress rehearsal for real life, a way to practice feeling without the stakes. REM sleep also plays a role in memory consolidation, particularly emotional and procedural memories. The things you learned today, the skills you practiced, the conversations you had, all of these are being sorted, strengthened, and stored during REM. Your brain is deciding what to keep and what to discard, what matters and what doesn't. This is why a good night's sleep often makes problems feel more manageable. Your brain has literally reorganized how it thinks about them. There's also evidence that REM sleep supports creativity and problem solving, because your brain is making unusual connections during dreams, linking ideas that would never come together while you're awake. You sometimes wake up with insights you didn't have before. Artists, writers, scientists, they've all reported breakthroughs that came from dreams. Your sleeping brain is not idle. It's exploring, experimenting, playing with possibilities. And here's something comforting. You spend roughly 20 to 25% of your total sleep time in REM, which means if you sleep 8 hours, you're dreaming for about 90 minutes to 2 hours every single night. You might not remember most of it. In fact, you probably won't. Most dreams fade within seconds of waking, but they're still happening. Your brain is still doing the work, and that work matters. So tonight, when your eyes start moving beneath your lids, know that your brain is taking care of you in ways you'll never consciously experience. It's sorting your memories, soothing your emotions, and giving you space to explore the impossible. You don't have to remember the dreams. You just have to let them happen. But while your eyes dart and your mind wanders through landscapes that don't exist, something else is moving through your body, silent and essential, carrying oxygen and life to every corner of you. Your blood. Right now, flowing through your body, there's a river. It moves in silence, never stopping, carrying everything your cells need to survive and taking away everything they don't. It's warm, thick, and alive, and every 60 seconds it completes a full lap around your entire body. This river is your blood. You have about 5 liters of blood in your body. If you're an average adult, that's roughly 10.5 pints, or a little more than 1.25 gallons. It doesn't sound like much, but it's enough to fill every vessel, every capillary, every microscopic pathway in a circulatory system that, if stretched out end to end, would span about 60,000 miles. That's more than twice the circumference of the Earth. All of that, coiled and folded inside you. Your blood is made up of several components, each with its own job. Red blood cells, the most abundant, carry oxygen from your lungs to your tissues and bring carbon dioxide back to be exhaled. They're shaped like tiny discs, pinched in the middle, which gives them a large surface area for gas exchange. A single drop of blood contains roughly 5 million red blood cells. They're born in your bone marrow, live for about 120 days, and then they're recycled by your spleen and liver. Your body is constantly producing new ones to replace the old. Then there are white blood cells, your immune system's mobile infantry. They patrol your bloodstream, hunting for bacteria, viruses, and anything else that doesn't belong. Some of them engulf invaders directly. Others coordinate attacks, calling in reinforcements and tagging threats for destruction. White blood cells are fewer in number than red cells, but they're just as essential. Without them, even a minor infection could become life-threatening. Platelets are the smallest players in your blood, tiny cell fragments that spring into action whenever you're injured. They clump together at the site of a wound, forming a plug to stop bleeding. Then they work with proteins in your blood to create a clot, a temporary patch that holds until your tissues can repair themselves. You produce about 100 billion platelets every single day, just in case. And all of these cells, red, white, and platelets, are suspended in plasma, a straw-colored liquid that makes up about 55% of your blood volume. Plasma is mostly water, but it's packed with proteins, hormones, nutrients, and waste products. It's the delivery system, the medium through which everything else travels. Now, here's where it connects to sleep. While you're awake, your heart is working hard, pumping blood at a pace that matches your activity level. When you're moving, thinking, stressed, or eating, your heart rate increases, your blood pressure rises, and blood flow is directed to the muscles and organs that need it most. Your brain gets a constant supply. Your muscles get extra when you're active. Your digestive system gets more when you eat. But when you lie down to sleep, everything changes. Your heart rate slows. Your blood pressure drops, sometimes by as much as 10 to 20% compared to your waking levels. This isn't a problem. It's a gift. It means your cardiovascular system gets to rest. Your heart doesn't have to work as hard. Your blood vessels relax, and the blood that was being shunted to your muscles and your brain during the day can now be redirected toward repair and maintenance. During deep sleep, blood flow to your brain actually decreases slightly, not because your brain needs less oxygen, but because it's operating more efficiently. The brain is doing different work at night, consolidating memories, clearing waste, regulating hormones. It doesn't need the same level of circulation it requires when you're solving problems or having a conversation. Meanwhile, blood flow to your muscles and skin increases, delivering nutrients and oxygen needed for tissue repair. Your blood also plays a crucial role in temperature regulation during sleep. As you prepare to fall asleep, your core body temperature needs to drop. Blood vessels near the surface of your skin, especially in your hands and feet, dilate, allowing warm blood to flow closer to the surface where heat can radiate away. This is why your hands and feet might feel warmer right before sleep, even if you feel chilly overall. Your blood is helping your body cool down just enough to trigger the cascade of events that lead to sleep. And here's something remarkable. Your blood carries more than just oxygen and nutrients. It also carries hormones, chemical messengers that regulate nearly every function in your body. During sleep, the balance of these hormones shifts. Melatonin, the hormone that makes you feel sleepy, rises in your bloodstream as darkness falls. Growth hormone, essential for tissue repair and muscle growth, surges during deep sleep. Cortisol, the stress hormone, drops to its lowest levels in the middle of the night, then begins to rise again in the early morning to prepare you for waking. All of these hormones are traveling through your blood, reaching every cell, delivering instructions, and coordinating the complex symphony of sleep. Without your blood, none of this communication would be possible. Your organs wouldn't know what to do. Your tissues wouldn't know when to repair. Your brain wouldn't know when to dream. There's also something deeply calming about the rhythm of blood flow itself. If you've ever felt your pulse, you've felt the pressure wave created by your heartbeat traveling through your arteries. That rhythm is constant, reassuring, and primal. It's been with you since before you were born, when your heart first started beating at around 3 weeks of gestation. It's the first sound you ever made, and it will be the last sound your body makes before it stops. And right now, that rhythm is slowing. As you relax, as your breath deepens, as your muscles release their tension, your heart is easing into a gentler pace. Your blood is flowing more slowly, more smoothly, without the urgency of the day. It's still making its rounds, still delivering oxygen, still carrying away waste, but it's doing so quietly, efficiently, without stress. So tonight, maybe take a moment to appreciate this river inside you. It's been flowing your entire life, never stopping, never resting, always working to keep you alive. You don't have to manage it or control it. You don't have to think about it at all. It's just there, dependable and constant, carrying life to every corner of your body. Your blood is a gift you never asked for and never have to repay. It just flows, and while it flows, quietly delivering oxygen and calm throughout your body. Something else is happening in your muscles, something that might explain why lying still feels so impossibly good after a long day. Let's talk about what your muscles do when they finally get to rest. You have over 600 muscles in your body. Right now, most of them are finally getting a chance to do something they've been waiting for all day. They're letting go. Muscles are designed to contract, to pull, to create movement and force. That's their job. Whether you're walking, typing, chewing, or even just holding your head upright, your muscles are working. And they do it remarkably well. But holding tension, even low-level tension, takes energy. It requires a constant stream of signals from your nervous system telling muscle fibers to stay engaged. And after hours of this, your muscles get tired. Not just physically tired, but neurologically tired. They need permission to stop. That permission comes at night. When you lie down, when you settle into bed and close your eyes, your nervous system begins to shift from sympathetic mode, the fight or flight state, to parasympathetic mode, the rest and digest state. As this shift happens, the signals telling your muscles to stay contracted and start to fade. Your jaw unclenches, your shoulders drop. Your hands relax. Even the tiny muscles around your eyes, which have been working all day to focus and track movement, finally soften. This release isn't just psychological, it's chemical. During the day, your muscles use a molecule called adenosine triphosphate, or ATP, as fuel. Every contraction breaks down ATP into simpler molecules, releasing energy, but this process also produces waste products, including adenosine itself, which accumulates in your brain and muscles throughout the day. Adenosine is one of the main drivers of sleep pressure. The longer you're awake, the more adenosine builds up, and the sleepier you feel. When you finally sleep, your body clears this adenosine, and your muscles get a chance to replenish their ATP stores. But muscles don't just rest during sleep, they also repair. Every time you use a muscle, whether lifting something heavy or just maintaining posture, you create tiny microtears in the muscle fibers. This is normal. It's how muscles grow stronger. But those tears need to be repaired, and most of that repair happens while you sleep, particularly during deep sleep. During deep sleep, your body releases growth hormone from the pituitary gland. This hormone travels through your bloodstream and signals muscle cells to start rebuilding. Protein synthesis, the process of creating new muscle tissue, increases significantly at night. Your muscles are literally being reconstructed while you dream. This is why athletes and people recovering from injury need so much sleep. Without it, the repair process is incomplete, and muscles remain weak, sore, or prone to further damage. Now, you've probably experienced something strange while falling asleep. A sudden jerk, a twitch, a feeling like you're falling. Maybe your whole body startles awake for a second, your leg kicks out, or your arm flails. This is called a hypnic jerk, and it's completely normal. Scientists aren't entirely sure why it happens, but one theory is that as your muscles relax and your brain begins to shut down for sleep, there's a brief moment of miscommunication. Your brain might interpret the sudden relaxation as falling, and it sends an emergency signal to your muscles to catch yourself. You jerk awake, realize you're safe in bed, and then drift back off. Another theory suggests that hypnic jerks are leftovers from our evolutionary past, a reflex that once helped our ancestors avoid falling out of trees while sleeping. Whether that's true or not, the important thing to know is that these twitches are harmless. They're just your nervous system recalibrating as it transitions from waking to sleeping. There's also something called sleep myoclonus, which refers to small, repetitive muscle twitches that can occur during light sleep. You might not even notice them, but if someone is watching you sleep, they might see your fingers twitch or your eyelids flutter. These movements are caused by spontaneous firing of motor neurons as your brain cycles through different stages of sleep. Again, completely normal. Your muscles are just settling in. But once you enter deeper stages of sleep, especially REM sleep, something fascinating happens. Most of your voluntary muscles become temporarily paralyzed. This paralysis, called atonia, prevents you from acting out your dreams. Your brain is still sending motor signals, imagining that you're running or fighting or dancing. But those signals are blocked at the level of the spinal cord. Your muscles receive the message but can't respond. This is a protective mechanism. Without it, you'd thrash around in bed, potentially hurting yourself or someone else. Your muscles also generate heat, and this plays a role in sleep regulation. Muscles produce warmth through metabolic activity, even at rest. During the day, this heat is useful. It keeps your core temperature stable, but at night, your body needs to cool down slightly to initiate and maintain sleep. As your muscles relax and their metabolic activity decreases, they produce less heat, contributing to the overall drop in body temperature that signals your brain it's time to sleep. And here's something you might not expect. Your muscles have memory. Not conscious memory, but a kind of procedural memory encoded in the nervous system. When you learn a physical skill, whether it's typing, playing an instrument, or riding a bike, you're training your muscles and the neural pathways that control them. And much of this learning is consolidated during sleep. Studies have shown that people who practice a motor skill and then sleep perform better the next day than people who practice the same amount but stay awake. Your muscles are learning while you rest. There's also a phenomenon called progressive muscle relaxation, a technique used to help people fall asleep. The idea is simple. You systematically tense and then release each muscle group in your body, starting with your toes and working up to your head. By deliberately tensing your muscles first, you make the subsequent relaxation feel deeper and more complete. This works because it gives your nervous system a clear contrast. Your brain notices the shift from tension to release, and it interprets that release as a signal that it's safe to sleep. So tonight, as you lie there, notice your muscles, notice where you're still holding tension. Maybe it's your jaw, maybe it's your shoulders or your hands. You don't have to force anything, just notice. And then, if you want, give yourself permission to let go. Soften your face, drop your shoulders, unclench your hands. Let gravity do the work. Your muscles have been holding you up all day. They've earned this rest. And as they relax, as they release their grip on the day, they'll begin the quiet work of repair, rebuilding themselves while you sleep, preparing to hold you up again tomorrow. But while your muscles rest and rebuild on the outside, there's an entire cleaning system working on the inside, one that only activates when you sleep. It's time to talk about your brain's nighttime cleaning crew. Every day, your brain produces waste. Not the kind you flush away, but cellular debris, metabolic byproducts, misfolded proteins, and other microscopic garbage that accumulates as your neurons fire, communicate, and keep you alive. And here's the problem. Your brain doesn't have a traditional waste disposal system like the rest of your body. It doesn't have lymphatic vessels running through it. So for a long time, scientists wondered how the brain stayed clean. The answer, it turns out, only happens when you sleep. Welcome to the glymphatic system, one of the most important discoveries in sleep science in the last 20 years. The name is a combination of glia, the support cells in your brain, and lymphatic, the body's waste removal network. The glymphatic system is your brain's cleaning crew, and it works almost exclusively at night. Here's how it works. Your brain is surrounded and filled with a clear fluid called cerebrospinal fluid, or CSF. During the day, this fluid sits relatively still, cushioning your brain and spinal cord, providing a stable environment for neurons to function. But when you fall asleep, especially during deep sleep, something remarkable happens. Your brain cells actually shrink, not drastically, but by about 10 to 15%. This shrinkage creates more space between cells, widening the pathways through which cerebrospinal fluid can flow. And flow it does. Like a river suddenly given more room to move, cerebrospinal fluid begins to pulse through your brain in waves, washing over neurons, flushing out waste products that have built up during the day. This waste includes beta amyloid, a protein that, when it accumulates, is associated with Alzheimer's disease, and tau proteins, another marker of neurodegeneration. Your brain is literally taking out the trash while you sleep. This process is most active during slow-wave sleep, the deepest stage of non-REM sleep. This is the stage where your brain waves slow down into long, rolling oscillations, where your body is most still and where growth hormone is released. It's also the stage where your glymphatic system is working hardest. Studies using imaging technology have shown that the flow of cerebrospinal fluid during deep sleep is 10 to 20 times more active than during waking hours. Your brain is being power washed from the inside. And this matters a lot. When you don't get enough sleep, when you skip deep sleep or your sleep is fragmented, your glymphatic system doesn't have enough time to do its job. Waste builds up. Proteins that should be cleared away linger in the spaces between your neurons. Over time, this accumulation can contribute to cognitive decline, brain fog, memory problems, and potentially even neurodegenerative diseases. Sleep isn't just rest, it's maintenance. It's the only time your brain gets to clean itself. The glymphatic system also relies on your body position. Research has shown that sleeping on your side, particularly your right side, may enhance glymphatic clearance compared to sleeping on your back or stomach. The exact reason isn't fully understood, but it seems that side sleeping allows cerebrospinal fluid to flow more efficiently through the brain's waste removal pathways. So, if you're a side sleeper, your brain might be thanking you. Now let's talk about the lymphatic system in the rest of your body. Because while your brain has its own specialized cleaning method, the rest of you relies on a more traditional network. Lymphatic vessels run throughout your body parallel to your blood vessels, but instead of carrying blood, they carry lymph, a clear fluid made of water, white blood cells, proteins, and cellular waste. Your lymphatic system doesn't have a pump like your heart. It relies on movement, on muscle contractions, on breathing, and on the gentle pulsing of nearby arteries to push lymph through its vessels. During the day, as you move and breathe, lymph circulates, picking up waste from tissues and filtering it through lymph nodes, small bean-shaped structures scattered throughout your body. These nodes are packed with immune cells that inspect everything passing through, destroying pathogens and tagging debris for removal. At night, even though you're not moving much, your lymphatic system is still working. Your breathing continues, your heart keeps beating, and lymph keeps flowing, albeit more slowly. But because your body is in repair mode, because inflammation decreases and cellular cleanup ramps up, Your lymphatic system gets a chance to catch up on the day's backlog. It filters, it drains, it clears away the microscopic remnants of a day's worth of living. This is also why your immune system is more active at night. Your lymph nodes, which are packed with white blood cells, are processing threats while you sleep. This is why you often feel worse at night when you're sick. Your immune system isn't weakening, it's working harder. And it's using the quiet hours of sleep to do deep cleaning, fighting infections, repairing tissue, and clearing out damaged cells. There's something almost poetic about this. While you're unconscious, while your mind is drifting through dreams or sinking into deep, dreamless sleep, your body is scrubbing itself clean. Fluids are flowing. Waste is being removed. Toxins are being filtered. Cells are being inspected and repaired. You're not doing any of this. You're not even aware it's happening. But it's happening nonetheless, quietly, efficiently, every single night. And this is why sleep deprivation feels so awful. It's not just that you're tired. It's that your brain and body haven't had time to clean up. You're walking around with yesterday's waste still clogging your system. Your thoughts feel foggy because your neurons are swimming in metabolic debris. Your body feels sluggish because your lymphatic system is backed up. Sleep isn't optional. It's the reset button your biology depends on. So tonight, as you close your eyes and let your body settle, know that you're giving your brain and your lymphatic system the time they need to do essential work. You don't have to manage it. You don't have to control it. You just have to let it happen. Let your brain shrink just enough for the cleaning crew to move in. Let your lymphatic system catch its breath and filter out the day. Let your body do what it was designed to do. Clean, repair, renew. And while all this washing and filtering is happening in the hidden spaces of your body, something else is quietly shifting on the surface. Your temperature is dropping, and it's one of the most important signals your body uses to know it's time to sleep. Your body has a thermostat, not the kind you adjust on the wall, but an internal one, buried deep in your brain, constantly monitoring and regulating your temperature with remarkable precision. And right now, as you prepare for sleep, that thermostat is doing something essential. It's turning the heat down. Sleep and temperature are inseparable. You can't have one without the other. To fall asleep and stay asleep, your core body temperature needs to drop by about 1 to 2 degrees Fahrenheit. This might not sound like much, but it's enough to signal your brain that conditions are right for rest. Without this drop, sleep becomes elusive, fragmented, or impossible. The part of your brain responsible for this regulation is called the hypothalamus, a small but powerful region that sits just above your brainstem. The hypothalamus acts like a command center, receiving information from temperature sensors in your skin, your organs, and your blood, then adjusting your body's heating and cooling systems accordingly. When you're too hot, it triggers sweating and dilates blood vessels near your skin to release heat. When you're too cold, it constricts those vessels, generates shivers, and redirects blood flow inward to protect your core. But as evening approaches and light fades, your hypothalamus begins to initiate a different program. It starts lowering your core temperature in preparation for sleep. This process is tied to your circadian rhythm, your body's internal 24-hour clock. As darkness signals the approach of night, your brain releases melatonin, the hormone that makes you feel sleepy. Melatonin doesn't just make you drowsy. It also lowers your body temperature by widening blood vessels in your extremities, particularly your hands and feet. This is why your hands and feet often feel warm right before you fall asleep, even if the rest of you feels cool. Blood is being redirected to the surface of your skin in these areas, allowing heat to radiate away from your core. It's a deliberate, controlled release of warmth, like opening a window to let heat escape from a room. And as your core cools, your brain interprets this as a sign that it's safe to shut down for the night. Temperature also affects the quality of your sleep. Studies have shown that people sleep best in cool environments, typically between 60 and 67 degrees Fahrenheit. When the room is too warm, your body struggles to maintain the lower core temperature it needs for deep sleep. You might fall asleep initially, but you'll likely wake up more often, toss and turn, and spend less time in the restorative stages of sleep. Heat disrupts the process. This is also why a hot bath or shower before bed can help you fall asleep, even though it seems counterintuitive. When you soak in hot water, your core temperature rises temporarily. But when you get out, your body works to cool itself down rapidly, and this steep drop in temperature mimics the natural decline that happens before sleep. The contrast, the shift from warm to cool, signals your brain that it's time to rest. Your body continues to regulate temperature throughout the night. During deep sleep, your core temperature reaches its lowest point, usually in the early morning hours, around 4 or 5 a.m. This is when your body is most still, most deeply at rest, and most focused on repair. Then, as morning approaches, your temperature begins to rise again, gradually, preparing you to wake. By the time your alarm goes off, your core temperature is climbing back toward its daytime baseline, helping you feel alert and ready to move. Interestingly, your body doesn't regulate temperature as tightly during REM sleep. During this stage, the part of your brain that controls temperature regulation becomes less active, and your body's ability to shiver or sweat is suppressed. You essentially become more like a cold-blooded animal for a brief period, relying on your environment to maintain a stable temperature. This is why extreme heat or cold can disrupt REM sleep more easily than other stages. Your body can't compensate as effectively. There's also a connection between temperature and comfort. The feeling of being tucked under a blanket, warm but not hot, creates what's called thermal equilibrium. Your body isn't losing or gaining heat. It's balanced, and this balance feels safe. It feels like home. Weighted blankets add another layer to this. The gentle, even pressure combined with warmth creates a sensation of being held, which activates the parasympathetic nervous system and promotes relaxation. But blankets do more than just keep you warm. They also trap a thin layer of air around your body, creating a microclimate that insulates you from the cooler air of the room. This allows your core to stay cool while your skin feels warm and protected. It's a delicate balance, one your body navigates instinctively, adjusting throughout the night by sticking out a foot or pulling your arms under the covers. Temperature also affects how you perceive comfort. Cold feet, for example, can make it difficult to fall asleep because they signal to your brain that heat isn't being released efficiently. Wearing socks to bed can help, not because your feet need to be warmer, but because warming them dilates the blood vessels and allows heat to escape more easily, lowering your core temperature. It's counterintuitive, but it works. And here's something fascinating. Your body's temperature rhythm can be shifted by exposure to light and darkness, but also by physical activity and meal timing. Eating a large meal late at night raises your core temperature as your body works to digest food, which can interfere with sleep. Similarly, intense exercise too close to bedtime raises your temperature and keeps your nervous system in an alert state. But light exercise or stretching in the evening can help ease the transition into rest, especially if followed by a cool down period. So tonight, as you lie there, notice the temperature of the room. Notice the weight of your blanket. Notice if your hands or feet feel warm or cool. These sensations aren't random. They're part of an elegant, ancient system designed to guide you into sleep. Your body knows what it needs. It knows how to cool itself, how to release heat, how to find balance. You don't have to manage it, you just have to let it happen. Let your core temperature drop. Let your hands and feet release the day's warmth into the night air. Let your body find its rhythm, its equilibrium, its rest. And while your body cools and settles, something else is shifting inside you, invisible but essential. Chemical messengers are being released, hormones that will guide you deeper into sleep and prepare you for the day ahead. Your body runs on chemistry, not the kind you learned in high school with beakers and Bunsen burners, but something far more elegant. Every second, chemical messengers called hormones are being released into your bloodstream, traveling to distant organs and delivering instructions that keep you alive, balanced, and functioning. And when it comes to sleep, a handful of these hormones take center stage, orchestrating the transition from waking to rest with precision you'll never consciously feel. Let's start with melatonin, the hormone most people associate with sleep. Melatonin is produced by a tiny gland deep in your brain called the pineal gland, about the size of a grain of rice. This gland is incredibly sensitive to light. During the day, when light enters your eyes, it sends signals to the pineal gland that say, "Stay quiet, don't produce melatonin yet." But as darkness falls, as the sun sets and evening arrives, those signals fade and the pineal gland begins its work. Melatonin levels start to rise about 2 to 3 hours before your natural bedtime. They peak in the middle of the night, usually between 2 and 4 in the morning, and then gradually decline as morning approaches. Melatonin doesn't knock you out like a sleeping pill. It's more subtle than that. It lowers your body temperature, reduces alertness, and creates a feeling of drowsiness. It's a signal, a chemical whisper that says, the day is ending, it's time to rest. But melatonin is also fragile. Exposure to bright light, especially blue light from screens, can suppress its production. This is why scrolling through your phone before bed can make it harder to fall asleep. Your brain thinks it's still daytime. The pineal gland hesitates. Melatonin production stalls, and you're left lying awake, wondering why sleep won't come. The fix is simple, but not always easy. Dim the lights. Put the screens away. Let darkness do its job. Now let's talk about cortisol, often called the stress hormone. Cortisol gets a bad reputation, but it's not inherently harmful. In fact, it's essential. Cortisol helps regulate your metabolism, controls inflammation, and influences your blood sugar levels. It also follows a daily rhythm, rising and falling in a pattern that mirrors your sleep-wake cycle. Cortisol levels are lowest in the middle of the night, usually around midnight to 2 in the morning. This is when your body is least alert, most relaxed, most focused on internal repair. But as morning approaches, cortisol begins to rise, peaking about 30 minutes after you wake up. This morning surge of cortisol is what helps you feel alert, energized, and ready to face the day. It raises your blood pressure slightly, boosts your blood sugar, and primes your body for action. The problem comes when cortisol stays elevated at night. Chronic stress, anxiety, or even exposure to stressful news before bed can keep cortisol levels higher than they should be. When that happens, your body doesn't fully shift into rest mode. Your heart rate stays elevated. Your muscles remain tense. Sleep becomes light, fragmented, or elusive. This is why managing stress isn't just good for your mental health, it's essential for sleep. Then there's growth hormone, one of the most important hormones for physical repair and recovery. Growth hormone is released in pulses throughout the day, but the largest and most significant release happens during deep sleep, particularly in the first few hours after you fall asleep. This hormone stimulates tissue growth, muscle repair, and bone strengthening. It also plays a role in regulating metabolism and immune function. Children and teenagers produce more growth hormone than adults, which makes sense. They're still growing, their bones are lengthening, their tissues are developing, but even in adulthood, growth hormone remains essential. Without it, your body can't repair damage efficiently. Muscles don't recover from exercise, skin doesn't regenerate as well, even your immune system weakens. And because growth hormone is released primarily during sleep, skipping sleep means skipping this crucial repair phase. Another hormone worth mentioning is serotonin, which we touched on earlier when talking about the gut. Serotonin plays a complex role in sleep. During the day, serotonin promotes wakefulness and regulates mood. But serotonin is also the precursor to melatonin. Your body converts serotonin into melatonin using an enzyme that's activated by darkness. So in a way, serotonin is both a wakefulness signal and a building block for sleep. It's all about timing and context. Low levels of serotonin are associated with depression, anxiety, and sleep disturbances. This is why many antidepressants work by increasing serotonin availability in the brain. But serotonin production also depends on factors like diet, exercise, sunlight exposure, and gut health. It's not a simple on-off switch. It's a delicate balance that your body is constantly adjusting. And then there's oxytocin, often called the love hormone or the bonding hormone. Oxytocin is released during physical touch, hugging, cuddling, even petting an animal. It promotes feelings of safety, connection, and calm. It lowers cortisol, reduces blood pressure, and activates the parasympathetic nervous system. In other words, it helps you relax. Oxytocin levels naturally rise at night, especially in people who feel safe and secure in their environment. This is one reason why sleeping next to a loved one, holding a pet, or even hugging a pillow can feel comforting. Your body is releasing oxytocin, and that chemical is telling your brain, you're not alone, you're protected, you can rest. For people who struggle with anxiety or feel unsafe at night, finding ways to trigger oxytocin release through weighted blankets, soft textures, or calming routines can make a meaningful difference. All of these hormones, melatonin, cortisol, growth hormone, serotonin, oxytocin, are constantly communicating with each other, rising and falling in rhythms that overlap and intersect. They're not working in isolation. They're part of a larger system, a chemical conversation that happens inside you every single day and night. And when this conversation flows smoothly, when the hormones rise and fall at the right times, sleep comes naturally. You feel tired when you should. You wake refreshed. Your body repairs itself. Your mind clears. But when this system is disrupted by stress, irregular schedules, poor sleep hygiene, or health conditions, everything feels harder. Sleep becomes a struggle. Waking feels like climbing out of a fog. Your body doesn't repair as efficiently. Your mood suffers, and the cycle feeds on itself. Poor sleep disrupts hormones, and disrupted hormones make sleep worse. The good news is that your body wants to find balance. It's designed to find balance, and often, small changes dimming lights at night, managing stress, maintaining a consistent sleep schedule can help these hormones realign. You're not fighting your biology, you're working with it. You're giving your body the conditions it needs to do what it already knows how to do. So tonight, as you lie there, trust that these hormones are already at work. Melatonin is rising, cortisol is falling, growth hormone is preparing to surge during deep sleep, serotonin has laid the groundwork, oxytocin is wrapping you in a chemical sense of safety. You don't have to manage any of this, you just have to let it happen. And while these chemical messengers do their work, something else is happening in the background, a vast network of wiring that connects every part of you to every other part. Your nerves, your body is wired, literally, running through every inch of you from the top of your head to the tips of your toes is a vast network of nerves, roughly 86 billion neurons in your brain alone, and billions more throughout the rest of your body. These nerves are your body's communication system, carrying signals faster than you can think, coordinating movement, sensation, emotion, and yes, sleep. Your nervous system is divided into two main parts. The central nervous system, which includes your brain and spinal cord, and the peripheral nervous system, which branches out to every organ, muscle, and patch of skin. Together, they form a network so complex, so finely tuned, that scientists are still trying to fully map and understand it. But one thing is clear. Your nervous system is what allows your body to know when it's safe to rest. Let's talk about the vagus nerve. One of the most important nerves in your body when it comes to relaxation and sleep. The vagus nerve is the longest cranial nerve, starting in your brainstem and winding down through your neck, chest, and abdomen, touching your heart, lungs, stomach, intestines, and other organs along the way. It's like a superhighway of communication between your brain and your body, constantly sending signals in both directions. The vagus nerve is the main conductor of your parasympathetic nervous system, the part of your nervous system responsible for rest, digestion, and repair. When the vagus nerve is activated, your heart rate slows, your breathing deepens, your digestion improves, and your body shifts into a state of calm. This is called high vagal tone, and it's associated with better stress, resilience, emotional regulation, and, crucially, better sleep. You can actually stimulate your vagus nerve intentionally. Deep, slow breathing activates it, especially when you extend your exhale. Humming, singing, or gargling can also activate it because the vagus nerve runs near your vocal cords. Even splashing cold water on your face triggers what's called the dive reflex, a response that activates the vagus nerve and instantly calms your nervous system. These aren't just relaxation tricks. They're direct interventions into your body's wiring, telling your nervous system it's safe to let go. Now, let's zoom out and talk about the broader nervous system and how it shifts as you prepare for sleep. During the day, your sympathetic nervous system is often in charge. This is the fight or flight system, the one that keeps you alert, responsive, and ready to react. It raises your heart rate, sharpens your focus, and prepares your muscles for action. It's not bad, it's necessary. But it's exhausting to stay in this state all the time. As evening approaches, your body begins to transition from sympathetic dominance to parasympathetic dominance. This shift is gradual, influenced by light, activity, temperature, and routine. Your heart rate slows. Your digestion becomes more active. Your muscles release tension. Your breathing deepens. All of these changes are coordinated by your nervous system, which is reading signals from your environment and your internal state, deciding whether it's safe to rest. But here's the challenge. In the modern world, your nervous system is often confused. You might be lying in bed, physically safe, but your mind is still churning through worries, replaying conversations, or scrolling through stressful news.
Your sympathetic nervous system stays partially engaged because your brain perceives a threat, even if that threat is just a thought.
And as long as your sympathetic system is active, your parasympathetic system can't fully take over. Sleep becomes difficult. This is where the concept of feeling safe becomes so important. Your nervous system is always asking one fundamental question: am I safe right now? If the answer is yes, if your environment is quiet, dark, and comfortable, if your body is warm but not hot, if your breath is slow and steady, then your nervous system gets the message. The threat has passed. It's time to rest. But if the answer is uncertain, if there's noise, light, discomfort, or mental stress, your nervous system stays on guard, and sleep remains out of reach. There's also something called proprioception, your body's sense of where it is in space. Specialized nerve receptors in your muscles, joints, and tendons constantly send information to your brain about your position, movement, and balance. When you lie down, when you stop moving, when your body settles into a stable position, these proprioceptive signals change. They tell your brain, we're grounded, we're supported, we're not in danger of falling. This sense of physical stability contributes to the feeling of safety that allows sleep to begin. And then there's touch, which we discussed earlier with skin, but it's worth revisiting from a nervous system perspective. The nerve endings in your skin that detect pressure, temperature, and texture are constantly feeding information to your brain. The feeling of soft sheets, the weight of a blanket, the coolness of a pillow, all of these sensations are being processed by your nervous system and translated into emotional signals: comfort, safety, home. These aren't abstract concepts. They're neurological states created by the steady stream of calming sensory input. As you move through the stages of sleep, your nervous system continues to adjust. During light sleep, your nervous system is still somewhat responsive to external stimuli. A loud noise or a sudden movement can easily wake you. But as you descend into deep sleep, your nervous system becomes less reactive. It takes a stronger signal to pull you back to consciousness. Your brain is filtering out the world, deciding what's important enough to warrant attention and what can be ignored. During REM sleep, something unusual happens. Your brain becomes highly active, almost as active as when you're awake, but the signals from your brain to your muscles are blocked. Your nervous system is firing, sending motor commands to run, jump, or fight in your dreams, but those commands never reach your muscles. This paralysis, controlled by your brainstem, is a protective mechanism, a way for your nervous system to let your brain rehearse and process without putting your body at risk. And here's something comforting. Your nervous system has been managing this process your entire life. From the moment you were born, your nervous system has been learning, adapting, and fine-tuning the balance between alertness and rest. It knows how to shift gears. It knows how to detect safety. It knows how to guide you into sleep. You don't have to teach it. You just have to trust it. So tonight, as you lie there, notice your nervous system at work. Notice how your breath slows. Notice how your heart rate drops. Notice how your body begins to feel heavy, grounded, supported. These aren't accidents. These are signals. Your nervous system is telling you it's safe. It's time. You can let go now. And while your nerves continue their quiet work of coordination and communication, something else is happening in your brain, a mode of thinking that only emerges when you stop trying so hard. Your default mode network is activating. There's a place your mind goes when it's not focused on anything in particular. When you're staring out a window, taking a shower, or lying in bed waiting for sleep, your thoughts drift. You're not really thinking about anything specific, but you're not exactly blank either. Your mind wanders, memories surface, ideas connect in unexpected ways. This isn't laziness. This isn't wasted time. This is your brain's default mode network at work. The default mode network, or DMN, is a collection of brain regions that become active when you're not engaged in a task. It was discovered somewhat by accident in the early 2000s, when neuroscientists noticed that certain areas of the brain consistently lit up during rest periods, between cognitive tests. At first, they thought it was just noise, the brain idling, but then they realized something remarkable. This so-called resting state was actually highly organized and incredibly active. Your brain wasn't doing nothing. It was doing something else entirely. The default mode network includes several key regions: the medial prefrontal cortex, the posterior cingulate cortex, and parts of the parietal lobes. These areas work together to support introspection, self-referential thinking, memory retrieval, and imagining the future. When the default mode network is active, you're more likely to think about yourself, reflect on past experiences, consider other people's perspectives, and daydream about possibilities. It's the network that supports your sense of identity, your narrative, your story. During the day, your brain constantly switches between two modes. When you're focused on a task, reading, working, solving a problem, your task-positive network activates. This network includes areas involved in attention, executive function, and sensory processing. It's sharp, directed, and goal-oriented. But when you finish the task, when your attention isn't locked onto something external, the default mode network takes over. It's like your brain has two settings: engage with the world or engage with yourself, and it toggles between them all day long. But here's where it connects to sleep. As you lie in bed, as your body relaxes and your environment becomes quiet and dark, you stop engaging with external tasks. There's nothing to focus on, no problems to solve, no screens to watch, and so, naturally, your default mode network becomes more active. Your mind starts to wander, thoughts drift, memories bubble up. You might replay a conversation from earlier, imagine tomorrow's schedule, or think about something completely random. For some people, this is peaceful. Their thoughts meander gently, like a stream finding its way downhill. But for others, this can be the hardest part of falling asleep. The default mode network, instead of wandering calmly, gets stuck in loops, worrying, ruminating, replaying embarrassing moments, or imagining worst-case scenarios. When this happens, the default mode network isn't helping you relax. It's keeping you awake. This is where practices like meditation, mindfulness, or even listening to calming content can help. These activities don't shut down the default mode network. Instead, they give it something gentle to focus on, guiding your wandering mind away from loops and toward neutral, non-threatening territory. It's not about suppressing thoughts. It's about redirecting them, giving your brain a softer path to follow. There's also a fascinating connection between the default mode network and creativity. Many artists, writers, and scientists report that their best ideas come not when they're actively working, but when they're resting, walking, showering, or lying in bed. This is because the default mode network excels at making unexpected connections. It pulls from different memories, different contexts, and links them in ways your focused, task-oriented brain wouldn't consider. It's less logical, more associative, more playful. During sleep, the default mode network continues to play a role, though its activity changes depending on the stage of sleep. During light sleep and REM sleep, the default mode network remains relatively active, particularly during dreams. This might explain why dreams often feel so personal, why they're filled with memories and emotions and self-referential narratives. Your default mode network is still engaging with your sense of self, even while you're unconscious. But during deep sleep, the default mode network quiets down significantly. This is the stage where your brain is least concerned with who you are or what happened today. It's focused on maintenance, on clearing waste, on consolidating memories in a more mechanical way. The narrative drops away. The sense of self fades, and in that absence, your brain does some of its most important restorative work. Interestingly, people who meditate regularly show changes in their default mode network. Long-term meditators tend to have less activity in certain parts of the network, particularly the areas associated with self-referential thinking and rumination. This doesn't mean their sense of self disappears. It means they're less caught up in it, less identified with every passing thought, and this shift often correlates with better sleep, less anxiety, and a greater sense of ease. There's also evidence that the default mode network plays a role in how we construct meaning. It helps you make sense of your experiences, integrate new information into your existing worldview, and maintain a coherent sense of who you are across time. When this network is functioning well, you feel like your life has continuity, like the person you were yesterday is connected to the person you are today. But when it's disrupted by trauma, stress, or sleep deprivation, that sense of continuity can fracture. You might feel disconnected, foggy, or like you're just going through the motions. And this brings us back to sleep. Sleep gives your default mode network time to process, to organize, to weave the day's experiences into the larger story of your life. Without sleep, this processing is incomplete. Memories don't get filed properly, emotions don't get regulated. The narrative becomes fragmented. This is why sleep deprivation often feels disorienting. It's not just physical exhaustion, it's a disruption in how your brain constructs meaning. So tonight, as your thoughts begin to wander, as your default mode network takes over, try not to fight it. Let your mind drift. Let it make strange connections. Let it revisit old memories or imagine future possibilities. You don't have to control it. You don't have to judge it. Just let it move, like water finding its way. And if your thoughts start to loop, if they become repetitive or distressing, gently guide them elsewhere, back to your breath, back to the sensation of your body against the bed, back to the present moment. Your default mode network isn't your enemy. It's part of how your brain makes sense of being alive. And right now, it's helping you transition from the busyness of the day to the stillness of the night. It's sorting, organizing, letting go. And soon, as sleep deepens, it will quiet down, allowing the rest of your brain to focus on what matters most right now: healing. And that healing, that quiet restoration happening in every cell, is what we'll talk about next. Your body is healing right now. You might not feel it, you might not see it, but deep within you, at the cellular level, a process of repair and regeneration is underway. It's been happening all day, but now, as you rest, as your body shifts into sleep mode, this healing accelerates. Sleep isn't just downtime. It's when your body does some of its most critical work. Let's start with your cells. You're made of roughly 37 trillion cells, give or take a few trillion. Each one is a tiny, self-contained unit of life, performing specific functions, communicating with neighboring cells, and constantly working to maintain balance. But cells don't last forever. They wear out, they get damaged, and they need to be replaced. Is less than #0. 7# is greater than cell division. The process by which one cell splits into two happens throughout your body every day. But the rate of division increases significantly during sleep, particularly during deep sleep. This is when your body produces the most growth hormone, the chemical signal that tells cells it's time to divide, repair, and rebuild. Skin cells, gut cells, blood cells, all of them are being renewed more rapidly while you sleep than while you're awake. Different types of cells have different lifespans. Red blood cells live for about 120 days. Skin cells on the surface of your body last only 2 to 3 weeks before they're shed and replaced. The cells lining your stomach are replaced every few days because they're constantly exposed to harsh digestive acids. But no matter the cell type, the principle is the same. Old cells die, new cells are born, and sleep is when much of this turnover happens most efficiently. Now let's talk about your immune system. Sleep and immunity are deeply interconnected. When you sleep, your immune system ramps up its activity. White blood cells become more active, patrolling your bloodstream and lymphatic system, hunting for pathogens and damaged cells. Cytokines, proteins that regulate immune response, are produced in greater quantities during sleep. Some of these cytokines promote sleep itself, creating a feedback loop where sleep strengthens immunity and immunity supports sleep. This is why you often feel exhausted when you're sick. Your body is redirecting energy toward fighting the infection, and it's using sleep as a tool to boost immune function. Fever, fatigue, and the overwhelming urge to rest aren't signs of weakness. They're strategic responses. Your body is prioritizing healing over everything else. Research has shown that people who don't get enough sleep are more susceptible to infections. In one study, participants who slept less than 7 hours per night were nearly 3 times more likely to develop a cold after being exposed to the virus compared to those who slept for 8 hours or more. Sleep deprivation weakens your immune response, making it harder for your body to fight off even minor threats. But sleep doesn't just help you fight infections, it also reduces inflammation. Inflammation is your body's natural response to injury or infection, a way of isolating and repairing damage. But chronic inflammation, the kind that lingers when your body is stressed or sleep deprived, is harmful. It's linked to heart disease, diabetes, autoimmune disorders, and accelerated aging. During deep sleep, inflammatory markers in your blood decrease. Your body shifts from a state of alert to a state of repair, calming the immune system and allowing tissues to heal without unnecessary collateral damage. Let's also talk about wound healing. If you've ever had a cut, a bruise, or a surgical incision, you know that healing takes time. But did you know that most of that healing happens while you sleep? Studies have shown that wounds heal faster in people who get adequate sleep compared to those who don't. This is because sleep increases blood flow to damaged tissues, delivers more oxygen and nutrients, and allows cells to divide and rebuild more efficiently. Even broken bones heal better with sleep. Bone remodeling, the process we discussed earlier where old bone is broken down and new bone is built up, is influenced by growth hormone and other factors that peak during sleep. Athletes recovering from fractures are often told to prioritize rest, not just to avoid re-injury, but because rest, particularly sleep, is when the actual healing happens. Your muscles, too, are being repaired right now. Every time you use a muscle, whether lifting something heavy or just holding your posture throughout the day, you create tiny tears in the muscle fibers. This is normal and necessary for building strength, but those tears need to be repaired, and that repair happens during sleep. Protein synthesis, the process of building new muscle tissue, is elevated during deep sleep. This is why sleep is just as important as exercise for anyone trying to build strength or recover from physical exertion. And it's not just your muscles and bones. Your organs are also benefiting from sleep. Your liver, which works all day to filter toxins from your blood, gets a chance to regenerate liver cells during sleep. Your kidneys, which filter waste and regulate fluid balance, operate more efficiently when you're resting. Your heart, which has been beating non-stop, gets to slow down, reducing wear and tear on its tissues. There's also evidence that sleep supports DNA repair. Throughout the day, your DNA accumulates damage from normal metabolic processes, environmental toxins, and oxidative stress. If this damage isn't repaired, it can lead to mutations, cellular dysfunction, and aging. But during sleep, particularly deep sleep, your cells activate repair mechanisms that fix damaged DNA, maintaining the integrity of your genetic code. Think about it this way. Your body is like a city. During the day, the city is bustling. People are working, moving, consuming resources. But at night, when the streets quiet down, that's when the maintenance crews come out. They repair roads, clean up garbage, fix broken infrastructure. Without that nightly maintenance, the city would fall apart. The same is true for your body. Without sleep, the repairs don't happen. Damage accumulates, systems break down, and eventually, everything starts to fail. But here's the beautiful part. Your body wants to heal. It's designed to heal. And sleep is the environment it needs to do that work. You don't have to manage it. You don't have to consciously direct your cells to divide or your immune system to fight. You just have to give your body the time and space to do what it already knows how to do. So tonight, as you lie there, know that healing is happening. Cells are dividing, tissues are rebuilding, your immune system is strengthening. Inflammation is decreasing, DNA is being repaired, wounds are closing, bones are remodeling, muscles are growing. All of this, quietly, invisibly, while you rest, you are not just sleeping, you are being renewed. And this process of renewal, this quiet miracle happening in every cell of your body, leads us to the final truth we need to talk about, the gift of stillness. We've traveled through your body tonight, from your beating heart to your breathing lungs, from your living bones to your protective skin, from your intelligent gut to your dreaming eyes, from your flowing blood to your resting muscles, from your cleaning lymphatic system to your cooling temperature, from your chemical hormones to your wired nerves, from your wandering mind to your healing cells. And now we arrive at the simplest, most profound truth of all. Your body doesn't need your permission to do any of this. It just needs your stillness. Stillness is not laziness. It's not weakness. It's not wasted time. Stillness is the environment your body requires to perform miracles. And every night, when you lie down, when you close your eyes, when you let your muscles soften and your breath slow, you're giving your body the greatest gift you can offer, permission to stop performing and start restoring. Think about everything we've discussed. Your heart, beating 100,000 times today, finally gets to slow its pace. Your diaphragm, contracting 20,000 times, gets to settle into a deeper, easier rhythm. Your bones, holding you upright all day, get to rest while they quietly rebuild themselves from within. Your skin, stretched across 20 square feet of surface area, gets to accelerate its renewal, shedding the old and creating the new. Your gut, with its 100 million neurons, gets to shift from digestion to maintenance, letting your microbiome recalibrate and your immune system strengthen. Your eyes, behind closed lids, get to move through dreams, processing emotions, and consolidating memories in ways your waking mind never could. Your blood, completing its 60-second circuit, gets to flow more slowly, delivering repair instead of urgency. Your muscles, over 600 of them, get to release the tension they've been holding, repairing micro-tears and building strength in the quiet hours. Your glymphatic system, your brain's cleaning crew, gets to flush out the metabolic waste that accumulated all day, washing your neurons in cerebrospinal fluid. Your temperature drops, signaling safety. Your hormones shift, melatonin rising, cortisol falling, growth hormones surging to rebuild what was broken. Your vagus nerve activates, calming your heart, deepening your breath, telling every system in your body that the threat has passed, that it's safe to let go. Your default mode network wanders through memories and possibilities, weaving meaning from the chaos of the day. And your cells, all 37 trillion of them, divide and repair, fighting infections, reducing inflammation, healing wounds, and maintaining the delicate balance that keeps you alive. None of this requires effort. None of it requires control. It just requires trust. Trust that your body knows what it's doing. Trust that the systems we've explored tonight have been refining themselves for millions of years of evolution. Trust that when you surrender to sleep, you're not giving up. You're allowing your body to do what it does best: heal, restore, renew. And here's the paradox. The more you try to control sleep, the more elusive it becomes. Sleep isn't something you do. It's something you allow. You can't force your heart to slow, or your brain to shut down, or your glymphatic system to activate. But you can create the conditions. You can dim the lights, quiet the noise, soften your environment. You can slow your breath, relax your muscles, let your thoughts drift without chasing them. You can choose stillness over stimulation, rest over productivity, being over doing. In a world that glorifies busyness, that measures worth by output, that treats rest as a luxury instead of a necessity, choosing stillness is radical. It's an act of self-compassion. It's a declaration that your body deserves care, that your health matters, that you are more than what you produce. And when you lie down at night, when you close your eyes and let go, you're honoring a truth your body has always known. Rest is not optional. It's essential. Sleep is the great equalizer. It doesn't matter who you are, what you've accomplished, or what's waiting for you tomorrow. When you sleep, you return to the most fundamental version of yourself, a living organism, breathing, beating, rebuilding. All the complexity of your waking life fades away, and what remains is simple. You are alive, and your body is taking care of you. So tonight, let yourself be taken care of. Let your heart slow, let your breath deepen, let your muscles release, let your mind wander, let your cells divide, let your brain wash itself clean, let your temperature drop, let your hormones shift, let your immune system strengthen. Let your body heal. You've carried it through another day. Now let it carry you through the night. There's nothing left to do, nowhere else to be. No problem that needs solving right this second. The world will still be there tomorrow. But right now, in this moment, the only thing that matters is rest. The only thing your body is asking for is stillness. And that's something you can give. Not through effort, but through surrender. Not through control, but through trust. Your body has been working for you since before you were born. It will keep working until your very last breath. And every night, it asks for the same thing: a few hours of quiet, a few hours of darkness, a few hours to repair what was damaged, to restore what was depleted, to prepare for whatever comes next. That's all it needs. And in return, it gives you everything: movement, sensation, thought, life itself. So, as we come to the end of tonight's journey, take a moment to feel gratitude, not the kind you have to work at, but the kind that simply arises when you pay attention. Gratitude for a heart that beats without being asked, for lungs that breathe while you sleep, for a brain that dreams and heals and makes sense of the world, for a body that, despite everything, keeps trying, keeps repairing, keeps holding you. You don't have to be perfect. Your sleep doesn't have to be perfect. Some nights will be easier than others. But every time you lie down, every time you close your eyes, every time you choose rest over resistance, you're giving your body what it needs. And that's enough. You are enough. Right now, exactly as you are enough. Let the stillness take you. Let the darkness hold you. Let sleep come when it's ready. Your body knows the way. It's been doing this your entire life. Trust it, trust yourself, and rest. We started tonight with a simple idea. Your body is performing miracles right now. And after everything we've explored together, after traveling through 15 chapters of biology, chemistry, and quiet wonder, I hope you see that this isn't just a nice thought. It's the truth. Your heart has beaten roughly 100,000 times today, and it will beat another 50,000 or so while you sleep tonight. Your lungs have taken over 20,000 breaths, and they'll keep breathing steadily, reliably, while your conscious mind drifts away. Your bones have been quietly remodeling, your skin has been renewing itself cell by cell, and your gut has been hosting trillions of microbial allies, all working in harmony to keep you balanced, nourished, and alive. Your blood has circled your body more than 1,000 times today, delivering oxygen, removing waste, carrying hormones that orchestrate the complex dance between waking and sleeping. Your muscles have contracted and released countless times, holding you upright, moving you through the world, and now, finally, they're letting go. Your glymphatic system is preparing to wash your brain clean of the day's accumulated debris. Your temperature is dropping, signaling safety. Your nervous system is shifting from fight or flight to rest and digest. All of this has been happening without your conscious effort, without you planning it, managing it, or even thinking about it. Your body has been taking care of you constantly, faithfully, with a level of intelligence and coordination that science is still trying to fully understand. And here's what I want you to take away from tonight. Sleep is not a luxury. It's not laziness. It's not time wasted. Sleep is when your body does some of its most essential work. It's when your heart gets to rest, your brain gets to clean itself, your immune system gets to strengthen, your cells get to divide and repair, your memories get to consolidate, and your emotions get to process. Without sleep, none of this happens efficiently. Without sleep, waste builds up in your brain, inflammation stays elevated, wounds heal more slowly, memories don't stick, emotions become harder to regulate, your body can't rebuild muscle, your immune system can't fight infections as effectively, even your DNA doesn't get repaired properly. Sleep is not optional, it's foundational, and the science bears this out again and again. Study after study shows that people who prioritize sleep live longer, think more clearly, recover faster from illness and injury, maintain healthier weight, experience less chronic pain, and report higher levels of emotional well-being. Sleep isn't just one factor in health. It's the factor that makes everything else possible. But here's the challenge. We live in a culture that often treats sleep as something to overcome, something to sacrifice in the name of productivity, ambition, or entertainment. We wear sleep deprivation like a badge of honor, as if running on empty proves how dedicated or important we are. But your body doesn't care about cultural narratives. It doesn't care about deadlines or social media or the myth of hustle culture. It just cares about survival, and survival requires rest. So tonight, I want to encourage you to reframe how you think about sleep. Instead of seeing it as something you have to do, try seeing it as something you get to do. You get to lie down, you get to close your eyes. You get to let your body take over and do what it does best. You get to trust that all the systems we've talked about tonight, your heart, your lungs, your brain, your immune system, all of them, are working for you, not against you. And if sleep has been difficult for you, if you struggle with insomnia or restless nights or racing thoughts, know that you're not broken. Your body still knows how to sleep. It's just that something is interfering with the process. Maybe it's stress. Maybe it's an irregular schedule. Maybe it's too much light or noise or caffeine. Maybe it's anxiety or pain or unresolved emotions. Whatever it is, it's not permanent. And small changes, consistent sleep and wake times, dimming lights in the evening, limiting screens before bed, creating a calm environment, managing stress during the day, can make a meaningful difference. Your body wants to sleep. It's designed to sleep, and when you give it the right conditions, it will. Not perfectly every night, but often enough. And that's all you need. Progress, not perfection. Rest, not rigidity. Trust, not control. So as we close tonight, I want to leave you with this. You are not just a mind living in a body. You are a body. A living, breathing, self-repairing organism that has been taking care of you since before you were born. And every night when you sleep, you're giving that body the time it needs to continue that care. You're honoring the contract between your conscious self and your biological self. You're saying, I trust you. I'll rest now. You take over. And your body will. It always has. It always will. Until the very end, your body will keep trying to heal you, to restore you, to keep you alive. All it asks in return is rest, stillness, darkness, time. If you found comfort in tonight's journey, if these words helped ease you towards sleep, go ahead and like this video and subscribe to the channel. But only if it feels right. No pressure, no obligation. Just an invitation to come back whenever you need a reminder that your body is on your side. And before you drift off completely, maybe ask yourself this question. When was the last time you thanked your body for everything it does? Not in a forced, performative way, but genuinely. When was the last time you acknowledged that your heart has been beating for you every single day of your life without complaint? That your lungs have been breathing for you even when you forgot to notice? That your cells have been dividing and repairing even when you were too busy to care? You don't have to answer out loud. Just think about it. And maybe, tonight, as you fall asleep, let that gratitude be the last thing on your mind. Not worry, not stress. Not tomorrow's to-do list, just gratitude for a body that works, for systems that cooperate, for a heart that still beats, for breath that still comes, for life that still flows. Thank you for spending this time with me tonight. Thank you for letting me walk you through the quiet miracles happening inside you right now. And thank you for choosing rest. Your body will thank you too, in its own way, by doing what it does best, healing you while you sleep. Now, let go. Let the stillness take you. Let your body do its work and rest well. I'll see you in the next one. Good night.